Welcome into the Analyst in the Armchair, an NFL podcast where one host is obsessed with stats and spreadsheets, and the other just really loves yelling at the TV on game day and has plenty of opinions. Together, Michelle and Nycole dive into player news, weekly matchups, and all the storylines you'll be talking about with your friends. Whether you're a hardcore or casual football fan, they've got something for you.
Welcome into the Analyst and the Armchair. I'm Michelle. I'm the Analyst. This is Nycole. She is the Armchair. I should say Armchair part of the show, but I kind of like just calling you Armchair a little bit more.
That tracks.
Yeah.
And I am the Armchair.
You are.
So I will take it.
Now, one thing you know a lot more than me is baseball. And
That is right.
baseball starts tonight.
Sure does.
It sure does. And the Astros have their first game on Thursday.
Yeah.
We're going to the game on Sunday.
Wild.
Baseball season. You got me hooked.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. It's so different from football because it's so long. It's so chill. They play every 5 seconds. And
You think that's chill?
well, it's chill in the sense that like,
They can
oh,
lose
we
a game and
lost
it's
a
not the end
game.
of the-
Like,
yeah.
okay, not the end of the
Yeah.
world.
When
right?
you lose a game on Sunday as a NFL fan, it like feels so much worse.
Well, yeah, and the difference of 17 games versus 182, I believe. You know, it's a big difference. A big
As an
difference.
MLB fan for as long as you've been,
Sure.
do you think 180 whatever games is the correct amount for MLB? I think 120 games would be fine.
No, I think it needs to be more than that. I'd like to see him reduce it a little bit, like let's say 150-ish.
Yeah.
Now I'm questioning myself if it's 162 or 182.
Yeah, I have no idea. I
Yeah,
don't know.
now anybody that likes baseball is like, she doesn't know anything.
I'm
All the
pretty sure it's
comments are like,
180.
this is why women shouldn't talk about sports. Anyway, I do think they can reduce it a little bit just to give a little more. I mean, we just see so many pitching injuries.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one, I would say. So, I mean, I would like to see it reduced a little bit, but no, there's nothing like being like, it's a random Saturday. Let's see what baseball game there is.
I will say I miss the Astros just being on wherever we go. Like
Yeah.
it's always on at any restaurant we go to, anywhere we go.
Well, and again, you don't have to
Yeah.
change your whole life around
Yeah.
baseball.
Mhm.
I mean, I do just because that's who I am. But, you know, I'm like, oh, Astros are playing, can't do anything else. But, football, it's like, oh, well, they only have so many games.
Yeah.
And then to go to a game for NFL is like very, very exciting.
Yeah.
Whereas baseball, it's a regular Tuesday.
Yeah, you can go anytime you want. Just
Yeah.
like we just bought tickets yesterday for Sunday's game. That's going to be a blast. But
That's right.
Very
That had nothing to do with mimosas.
very excited for the baseball game. Very excited for baseball season. And I said the same thing about the NBA, though. Like, there's no reason the NBA is still going on right now. You knew who the good teams were 3 months ago, honestly. Like,
Yeah.
what are they doing? Move on. We also, big news, we're figuring out her 10K finally. So she's going to run the 10K in April. We fully
Yes.
decided we have to still sign up for one, but it will be in April.
Yes.
Late April, because you have a couple trips.
I have a few trips and but we did a 5K last month,
Yeah.
just kind of on a whim. And that went well. So I was like, oh, I will die in the jersey, but other than that,
Yeah.
I will be able to finish.
Yeah, she wants to cut the jersey up the middle. That's not going to happen.
Listen.
Don't worry. She's going to have to run in the Aaron Rodgers jersey fully. I will not let her skip that
Mhm.
part.
Also, I fact checked myself, 162, not 182.
Well, embarrassing. You're the armchair of baseball as well. All right, let's get into our episode today. And before the NFL draft, we're a month away. We have 4 weeks. So we're going to go through 2 divisions at a time each week. And we're going to start with the AFC and NFC North this week and say what they've done so far in the offseason, what they still need to do entering the draft. So we'll get into a little bit of news and then jump into that right now.
The opening drive.
All right, Jackson Smith-Njigba gets a huge contract.
Mhm.
We knew this was coming. JSN and Devin Witherspoon both were due for massive contracts this offseason by the Seahawks. They got one of them done, and JSN gave him an NFL record wide receiver deal, 4-year, $168.6 million, over $42 million per year, beats out Jamar Chase's contract from last year by just a little bit. But this is going to be the new cost
Standard.
for a great wide receiver.
Yeah. I mean, inflation hits us all,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It feels okay. I get it. I get it from the year he just had. No shade to him. It just feels like he was not that consistent, and then did have a breakout year last year, and it feels a little too good to be true. And I would be nervous if I was a Seahawks fan right now.
I'd only be nervous that they're switching OCs in Clint Kubiak. So you don't get to see, was it Clint Kubiak's system that made JSN open nonstop?
Mhm.
Is it JSN that just figured out a way to be uncoverable, right? Like,
And was it a mix of both?
Yeah,
Right?
probably a little
Yeah.
bit both.
Yeah.
I really love Jackson Smith-Njigba coming out of school. I
Sure.
think he's a great route runner. Like, I think they had to pay him, and they're going to pay him this, but now he's the third most expensive non-quarterback in the league, behind Micah Parsons and Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know if I would say he's third best non-quarterback in the league, like, or third best player that's a non-quarterback, probably
Right.
not there for me, but they had to do it, so it's not crazy. My biggest thing though now is Puka Nacua is also up for a contract extension. And likely those two were kind of like, let's see who gets it done first, because we're going to want to beat you.
Right.
And JSN just did it, whatever. And Puka's probably trying to get a little bit more because he wants to be the highest paid wide receiver.
Sure.
But now, off-field issues. I mean, he's been a disaster, I feel like, for the last 6 months.
Oh, yeah. It's like he got, like, people know his name, and then now he's like, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And it's like, ugh, like, it's so cringy to me. Like, and you know me, I'm like, ugh, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, and I get it. He's great on the field. Don't get me wrong. But I don't want that kind of problem in my locker room.
Yeah. I mean, he already caused a lot of problems in the locker room during the season last year with the whole recording in the locker room, inviting those guests or whatever, those people that were supposed to interview, and then they weren't allowed. It was a whole headache, right? Like, he was starting it last year, and now this offseason, some off-field stuff that just came out about him apparently biting a woman and saying some
Allegedly.
saying some really inappropriate things. So,
Man, I wouldn't touch somebody like this with a 10-foot pole. And I get it. Like, the man can catch a ball. And again, NFL's notorious
Yeah.
for, we got some dudes that aren't the grade A student,
but can
players,
you
but
actually feel good about paying him that? Now they're going to have to put a lot of stuff into the contract.
lots
Lots of stuff where they can void it out if anything happens, and maybe don't give as many guarantees.
very little guarantees. Yeah.
But yeah, Puka's kind of.
I'd be redlining this one hard.
Like, Puka, if you're going to go crazy, at least wait till you get your first contract.
Right.
Also, because he's a 5th-round rookie too. Now, don't get me wrong, he's not hurting for money. At least he shouldn't be. I'm sure he has a ton of sponsors and all that. 5th-round rookies, in terms of football money, it's very little.
Yeah.
So yeah, he went crazy a little too soon.
We'll see what they do. Yeah.
And then lastly, for the news, it hasn't been a lot of NFL news lately, but Najee Harris, we got some news out of him just today. He's visiting the Seahawks, which is very interesting because they let Kenneth Walker go. Zach Charbonnet will not be ready for the season.
Right.
I'm just going to say that. Maybe he will be, but I cannot imagine tearing your ACL in January, not getting surgery till February, or it may have even been March at that point, and then being ready by September. That'd be crazy.
Right.
But Najee Harris coming off an Achilles tear in the beginning of the 2025 season.
Yeah.
The Seahawks need a guy.
Sure.
He'd be interesting.
He'd be interesting, and he's available. So, I mean, why not? Why not see what he can do? What are your other options?
I mean, I guess they go with the guys they have there, and they signed Emmanuel Wilson. They say they like him. They say they like that George Halini guy.
Sure. And you could give them a chance and hope that Charbonnet's back in due time, but why not see?
We'll see if Najee signs there. If
Yeah.
not, he's going to go visit the Raiders. Please don't. Please don't, Najee. I loved you as a Steeler, and thank you for all you've done. And I like you. I think you're a really good guy. But you're the type of veteran that's going to really, really annoy us if you go, I say us, fantasy players, if you go to a team with already running back that we want to get all the work. Do not take work away from Ashton Genty. Please
He
don't.
needs it.
He needs to get work taken away?
No, he needs
All the
the
work.
time.
Yeah.
Because he was such a bust
And
last
Clint
year.
Kubiak wants to use a split backfield. So if they sign Najee Harris, it is going to be split. No, Najee, stay away. Go to the Seahawks. It's fine.
Give Ashton Genty some time
Yeah.
to figure it out.
I need Ashton Genty to fully break out, please.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into our AFC and NFC North team reviews. We'll talk about everything they've done this offseason if it's good, if it's bad, what we think they're going to do next year, and what they need to do in the draft to be better for the 2026 season.
Between the 20s.
All right, it seems like I'm being a homer here, starting with the Steelers.
Listen, I was like, why did we start with the AFC North? And then I see the first one, Steelers, and I was like, what a nerd.
No. Like the AFC North is what you start at, and then I was going division, winner, second, third, fourth place. So we're gonna do the AFC and NFC North. I almost started with the NFC North just
Your
so
dad
we didn't
is
start
so
with
proud
the
of
Steelers.
you right now.
Anyways,
That we're not talking about the 49ers.
we're starting with the Steelers. They finished 10-7 last year, won the AFC North, only team in the AFC North to make the playoffs, but
and they lost to
they got murdered by the Texans in the wild card run. It wasn't even a game. They changed their head coach from Mike Tomlin to Mike McCarthy. They trade for Michael Pittman Jr., which I do love that. They made some good additions in free agency in the secondary. Jamal Dean, cornerback. They added some safeties in Darnell Savage and Jaquan Brisker. They added your favorite running back, Rico Dowdle.
a guy I like.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't lose all too much. I say their biggest loss, definitely Isaac Samalu, their starting guard. And then Broderick Jones, their starting tackle, left tackle at the moment. He's probably not, I don't know when he's going to be back. He's dealing with a real serious neck injury.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like the entire left side of the line is in trouble.
Yeah. Well, you didn't mention Gainwell. He's gone.
He's gone. But
And you like
Rico,
Gainwell.
yeah, I love Gainwell, but you
Yeah.
love Rico. So.
Just mentioning it.
When you think about the Steelers offseason, what do you think about it?
I think they've done some good things. Some things, frankly, that I was like, shoot, dang, why did they do that?
Shoot,
now I
dang.
have to deal. I'm trying to be PG here. Like I'm a little bummed they did that because that was a good move. And
Okay,
I want
so-
them to be bad just
You're supposed to be
for-
non-biased.
for the sake of the banter we've got going on.
Mhm.
But I do think their left side is struggling,
Mhm.
right? They obviously have to prioritize that with this upcoming draft. The other thing that I feel like is the giant red flag here is quarterback. What are you doing sitting around waiting to see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do? We have to assume he's going to come back. We have to assume he's going to play.
Yeah.
But why not go grab some quarterback in the draft and just see what they
this is
can
what
do?
they did when they took Kenny Pickett a few years ago.
You mean
Super
Super Bowl
Bowl
winning
winning Kenny
Kenny
Pickett? Yes. Super Bowl winning Kenny Pickett. But this is what happened.
what else are they going to do?
This is what happened though that year. It was like, well, we have nobody in this terrible quarterback draft class, but we're just going to take one and hope for the best. That would be doing the same thing again this year. Just if you're going to do that, just go with Will Howard and tank for all I
They
care.
have 12 picks.
I know. Yeah, so load up and get a quarterback next year. Like load
There
up the
is-
team now.
There is no reason they shouldn't grab a quarterback in round 5.
But why? He's not going to do anything.
You don't know that. What round was Tom Brady picked?
Oh my God, I know.
What
Tom
round
Brady
was
and
Brock Purdy
are
picked?
the two picks.
I'm just saying.
I know.
You never know. And you know what we do know? Aaron Rodgers is not your franchise quarterback.
Obviously.
You did this a couple years ago. You went and got Russell Wilson, who was embarrassing, to say the least. Then he went to the Giants and was even more embarrassing, honestly. So then you're going to do the same thing. Go get washed up Aaron Rodgers, old man Rodgers, to do what? Play 3 seasons for you? So you can
If
either
I'm
not
sitting here
either
next year and
not-
Aaron Rodgers is still coming
either
back,
not make the
play.
playoffs or go and lose in round 1 like you've been doing for, it feels like, your entire life.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it's worth looking at. I like the pickup of Michael Pittman Jr. across from DK. And I like the moves for the backfield. I mean, go grab a quarterback and just see. It's not
Okay,
going to hurt.
Well, what is annoying is they're just waiting around for Aaron Rodgers. So they're giving Aaron
Ridiculous.
Rodgers all of the leverage yet again and just waiting on him. But it's
So
going to
dumb.
be him or Kirk Cousins. It's going to be a miserable year. Yes. I don't think they should push for a quarterback unless there's a guy. They do have 3 third-round picks. So if there's a guy in the 3rd round, they're like, we think we can develop him. Sure, take him, whatever. But do not take one in the 1st round. It's just
no,
not- yeah.
no. Leave the 1st round for what you need.
Yeah. And that's
today.
offensive line.
Yes.
That's offensive line. They desperately need a tackle or guard or guard / tackle, whatever. Grab an offensive lineman. I also wouldn't be mad at edge because TJ Watt is not getting younger. They're paying him an absurd amount of money.
That's a good point.
Really fell off last year. Alex Highsmith is only good when TJ Watt is great, and they're still paying him too much. And then they're going to have to pay Nick Herbig if they want to keep him. So they should load up again on edge, maybe more defensive linemen. But that's what the Steelers have to do. And I mean, honestly, guys, like we can give our predictions for next year. It's 9-8 or 10-7, and they're going to lose in the wild card round if they make it.
Yeah, if I had to put money on it, that's what I'm putting money on right now.
I do think overall they will be a better team than last year. I do
they
like
have
the
to be. That defense was horrible.
But I think the division overall will also be better than last year. So the division overall in the AFC North was terrible, including the Ravens, who we cannot predict to be as bad as they were last season. 8-9 last season. I couldn't believe it. Like I was kept waiting. Mm-hmm. And they did go through that little spur of winning games.
Yeah.
I think they went like a 5-game win streak.
Well, they also went on a 5-game lose streak.
Well,
too.
The start of the year and then another losing streak to end year. But second in the AFC North, missed the playoffs. I think we were all shocked by that when it officially happens. Then they've had a pretty crazy offseason. They move on from John Harbaugh. They hire Jesse Minter, the DC from the Chargers. I do love that also because they already know who he is too. He used to work for the Ravens for a few seasons as a DB coach, a defensive assistant coach. And during that 4-season span that he was there from 2017 to 2020, the Ravens were the number 1 defense in the league. So they kind of know what they're getting. And then we had the shakeup of Max Crosby trade.
That's still wild to me.
Yeah. Traded for Max Crosby, trading away 2 first-round picks, and then be like, never mind.
Just kidding. We've realized we could get Trey Hendrickson way cheaper.
Yeah, we don't have to give him picks, and he's cheaper. So they avoid that deal, go sign Trey Hendrickson. But because they thought they were trading for Crosby and paying him and all that, they lose out on their center, their star center, one of the best centers in the league, Tyler Linderbaum. He leaves to go to the Raiders. They lose out on Matt Jones on their defensive line. They lose out on Alohi Gilman, who I love him as a safety. They lose out on Isaiah Likely, also Charlie Collier, who's a good pass blocking tight end. So lots of pieces gone, lots of question marks. What are your thoughts on the Ravens this year?
Yeah, I mean, they made a lot of changes, but I think a lot of changes for the better. I don't know that they've done anything that I'm like, oof, that was a bad decision.
You think they made a lot of changes for the better?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I think their inconsistency last year showed like they've got to make some changes. I think any team that can win 5 and then lose 5 needs something to change pretty drastically in the offseason. So, I think the center is a huge piece. Obviously, it's the anchor for their run game, and that's going to be huge for Derrick Henry, who is coming off a season that was, while still amazing because he's Derrick Henry, we had glimpses of like,
father time.
Is the king gonna be dethroned, right? So I think the center is a huge loss for them, and they need to figure out what that's going to look like. The other thing they really need are some pass catchers, a tight end, wide receiver. I think losing Isaiah Likely, who we talked about previously, and Kolar are going to leave a void in the middle of the field. So I really do think they need to figure out another weapon at least on offense.
Yeah, for Lamar, like Zay Flowers, his receiving yards look fine. He's not a touchdown guy. He's very inconsistent too. Like he could just disappear in games. So I think wide receiver could definitely be an option for them in the first round. They already said that even if they traded for Max Crosby, they still wanted to sign Trey Hendrickson. So maybe they go another edge in the draft. If anyone believes that, there's a lot of ways they can go. Maybe center, right? Maybe an offensive lineman. But yeah, I do think they're going to be much better than last year, just because they're the Ravens. But maybe that's just me being biased in my head, and they've been so good for so long. I can't picture them actually folding. I do like the coaching changes they made. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Harbaugh needed to go to change something in the locker room. Yeah. And again, I do think they made the right choices in the offseason that's going to put them ahead in this division. Moving on to the Bengals, another team that we just really thought should have been so much better. We're just waiting for it to happen. They go 6-11, third in the AFC North. And I mean, Joe Burrow has another season full of injuries immediately, right? With the turf toe.
Yeah.
Misses the majority of the beginning of the whole beginning of the season, pretty much the majority of the season. And their defense stinks, right?
Terrible.
Now they did get a little bit better in the second half of the year. They decided to keep everybody the same. They kept the same head coach, the same OC, the same defensive coordinator. Like, if we were going into this offseason,
But lost their best defensive player.
Yeah, and Trey Hendrickson. Yeah. Let him leave because God forbid you pay him. If I told you that only one head coach in the AFC North was going to stay and it was Zach Taylor, wouldn't that be wild with John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin in that same division?
Yeah, I definitely.
Like, Zach Taylor should have been gone.
This is a division that should have lost every head coach.
Yeah, they almost did. Like, it's been now 3 straight seasons of missing the playoffs for Zach Taylor and these Bengals. They did make it to the AFC Championship in back-to-back years, the 2 seasons prior. But, I mean, how long is Zach Taylor going to get to just coast?
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think he can be the best head coach that you could get, but whatever. And then you look at their additions. I like all 3 additions they made, but that's it. They made 3 moves so far this offseason. It's to add safety Brian Cook from the Chiefs. They added edge rusher Boye Mafe from the Seahawks. That's a nice add. And then defensive tackle Jonathan Allen, who was originally with the Commanders, then with the Vikings last year. He's fine, but getting older and his production is definitely declining. Like, I don't mind any of these 3 moves.
Mm-hmm.
I think those 3 moves made their defense better, but then they also lost pieces in Cam Taylor-Britt and Trey Hendrickson and Geno Stone, who was their starting safety last year, and Joseph Asai. They lost their edge rusher. So it's like, how much better did you really get?
Right. Well, and I think the thing too about the Bengals is their offense is solid. It's just they have no defense to keep the other team from scoring in bunches against them. And so,
but it also did feel like last year their offense wasn't as good as it should have been.
Well,
even when Joe Burrow was there, it's like, why aren't you guys like scoring every, like,
yes,
you should be unstoppable.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
So to me, you have to continue just the beatdown of the defense, especially going against somebody like the Ravens, who, like you just said, Jesse Minter was really great for them defensively.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the Steelers, who, hypothetically speaking, are a defensive
they're spending
team.
the most money in the league on defense. No,
right.
It's not really showing.
Is it going to come to fruition?
Yeah.
Who knows? And then you've got against the Browns, who really just have Myles Garrett, right? So this is a team that needs to have a solid defense. So I think you have to continue to try to layer your defensive line. And then, to your point just now, you have to get some coverage at the safety and cornerback position. I don't think you can spend time doing anything else on offense. I think you have to continue to harp on defense in this draft.
Yeah, and they've been trying. I mean, they keep drafting these first round defensive players, and they're just not working out.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, the thing is, they're never going to change their like, they don't even have a GM. They just have like the same owner forever and kind of runs the draft, and nothing's going to change with them. It just feels like the Bengals are going to bangle forever. I mean, it was shocking enough when they went through those 2 years. Like, in my lifetime, I never saw the Bengals win a playoff game.
Right.
They didn't win one. I remembered growing up, but yeah, I don't think they won one for like 2 decades or something.
Yeah.
And then they finally won a playoff game in 2021, made the Super Bowl, made it back to the AFC Championship, and now it just feels like they're right back to before
where they've been.
But there's no reason for it when you have Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, and Chase Brown is plenty good enough, and they built up their line to not be the worst anymore.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
It does feel like an office issue.
Yeah.
At this point, yeah.
And that's why, I mean, you saw Joe Burrow really defeated by the end of the year. Like, he was like talking about maybe retiring. I felt like,
which was so sad, because was it him that one interview? He was like, we get to go out here and get paid so much money to play a kid's game, and he was like all full of life. And then by the end of the year, he was just like, get me out of here.
They were like, well, why'd you come back when like you don't really have any hope to make the playoffs? He's like, it's a kid's game and I'm getting paid millions. Yeah. And then by the last game,
he probably was like, I should have stayed on the couch.
Yeah, he was like, God, I hate this team. Yeah.
Well, we'll see what they do.
Yeah, they should definitely focus on defense in the first round. Maybe they try to bolster up that offense more and just say, let's score 40 points a game. Go with Kenyon Sadiq or something, tight end, and the 10th overall pick. But they do have a prime pick, 10th overall. You get a really, really good player there, a good impact player. And if they find a good impact player on defense, they could really change things. I wouldn't be shocked if they won the AFC North next year. I'm not going to pick them to, but I wouldn't be shocked.
Okay.
I wouldn't be shocked. Now, the team that you picked like a month and a half ago to make the playoffs as a surprise team, I would be shocked. It's the Browns. Finished last in the AFC North last year, 5-12, and just everything they're doing this offseason is so silly. I shouldn't say everything, but no coach wanted to go there. And so they had to settle for Todd Monken, who clearly has had a dream to be a head coach forever. And finally, whenever he was going to get offered one, he was going to accept it. 60-year-old head coach, first-time head coach. Very rare to not, become a head coach. So then that doesn't ever work out. But good luck. I think he's just a scapegoat. And they're like, yeah, we know we're going to be bad. So here, enjoy your year or two as a head coach.
Right.
They lost pretty much their entire starting offensive line from last year.
Yeah.
Now, they have tried to replenish it this offseason. They traded for Titus Howard from the Texans. When we go through the AFC South, we'll be hating on that because the Texans need offensive line. And they're like, have our best guy for pretty much nothing.
I was so confused.
Yeah, that was confusing. So good move by the Browns. They added Zion Johnson and Alton Jenkins, some interior offensive linemen. Cool, whatever. But they all have to mesh together now, too. Like, this could be a brand new line. And the Browns did have a very good line for a bit. And the pieces they're losing, they're not, like, bad players. So that's going to be a big deal. And it's not like they added any more edge rushers to go with Myles Garrett.
Right.
And what's going to change here? They still don't have a quarterback. I mean, it's Shadur Sanders. They're talking up Deshaun Watson, saying he could come back and compete. They have 2 first-round picks. If you're the Browns, with your second first-round pick, do you just go with the second best quarterback in the draft?
I think you have to. I think if you're the Browns, you have to. I think, and again, going back to our previous conversation, I would stay so far away from Deshaun Watson. So going into the season, sure, like Shador's the guy,
but they're not going to let Shador read the game. It's going to be Deshaun Watson.
But I think you have to try to take a quarterback here. I mean, this is the moment. You stop kicking the can.
Last year they drafted 2 guys last year, and Dylan Gabriel and Shadur Sanders.
And bad choices.
They signed Deshaun Watson to the biggest deal ever. So it's not kicking the can. It's just stop kicking the wrong can, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The other thing is, could they go and get a pass rusher opposite Myles Garrett? Right.
Well, they do have first round picks, so maybe number 6 you do that. Number 24 you get a quarterback.
Right. The other thing is too, who's the quarterback going to throw it to? Whoever it is, who are they going to throw it to?
Harold Manning Jr., who I do really like.
Sure,
draft him in fantasy,
but you've got to get somebody else, maybe a veteran wide receiver that's not Jerry Jeudy that you can throw the ball to.
Like who?
I don't know.
There's no one left for free agency.
They have to figure out something wide receiver wise.
Now at number 6 or 24, they could take a wide receiver. If they feel like any of those guys are good enough to take it number 6, maybe they do that. Maybe they move back and keep getting more draft picks.
Okay, question. Do you think, would you go pass rush wide receiver, or would you go pass rush? Let's say you're going pass rush, no matter what, quarterback or wide receiver, if you're the Browns.
Well, some people really like Ty Simpson coming out of Alabama. He's a big risk. And do I think that Todd Monken and this coaching staff can develop him? No. I think Ty Simpson, like if I'm Ty Simpson, I am dying to not go to the Browns, because so much about making it into the NFL is being drafted by the right team.
Right. That
will develop you. And it can ruin you by being drafted to the wrong team.
Sure.
And doesn't even mean like Trey Lance going to the 49ers. That sucks for him. Like, he never got a shot.
Right.
So like there's a lot of situations like this. Any quarterback that goes here right now, I do not think it's going to succeed.
Yeah.
Unless it was they trade both of these picks and more and trade up to number 1, get Fernando Mendoza if they feel like he's worth that, is a true number 1 quarterback, but like just trying to go with a guy you have to develop. You already have 2 guys you can try to develop in Shedeur Sanders and Dylan Gabriel.
So you're going wide receiver, pass rush.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
Wide receiver for sure.
Yeah.
And that sucks for whoever gets drafted there. But wide receiver.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. Wide receiver, pass rush. Yeah. That's how I would go with those 2 picks. And then that's it for the AFC North. So let's move to the NFC North. Start with the winner of the division. It was the Bears. They finished 11-6.
Yeah.
Listen, great season for them.
The Bears.
A lot of close games. So we'll see if they can continue that. They lost their offensive coordinator in Declan Doyle. He ended up going to the Ravens, by the way. Didn't bring that up, but he's not a play caller. So I don't think it's like that big of a loss. And that's a worry for the Ravens as well. Like, you signed an OC that's not a play caller and you have a defensive head coach. Right. So that's interesting.
Yeah. They're like, go ahead, Lamar.
Yeah. Like, just do your thing. So really, I'm not worried about losing him for the Bears because it's really Ben Johnson, right? Ben Johnson is brains with the offense, the play caller, all that. They did lose, though, pretty much their entire safety group.
Unfortunate.
Including their starters. And then they also lost their starting corner in Deshaun Wright. And they haven't, I mean, the only thing that they backfilled was signing Kobe Bryant from the Seahawks as a safety. Like, cool, but you lost a lot of defensive back pieces. So that's interesting. And then randomly their center, who they signed last offseason as their big like acquisition, like it was like a big center signing, he just randomly decided to retire. He was like, I'm done. Peace out. I want to be healthy.
He's like, had the best season ever. Let's go.
Good for him for leaving. But that was wild. And they're trying to fill that with Garrett Bradbury from the Patriots. But Garrett Bradbury has always been a disappointment from what he should have been coming out of the draft. So this offseason, I do think overall has made them worse. They released Tremaine Edmonds, their starting linebacker. They trade away DJ Moore, which I don't know if that's necessarily a bad thing for the offense. I think they can focus on more of their really elite pieces and Roma Dunze, and we'll see what they get out of Luther Burden. We love Colston Loveland. Like, it could be enough, but I'm worried about them this offseason.
I agree. I think they had that really great year, and I'm afraid this year they're going to be worse. And it's going to be like, oh, told you so. Everyone else in the NFC North is going to be like, it was a fluke, right?
I do believe in Ben Johnson.
And that's the one caveat. Like, we're going to see what he can do with less options because he came into a lot of key guys. DJ Moore, no, he started the season kind of sketchy last year and then really did kind of become more of a key player. So we'll see if that makes a big difference offensively. I think the biggest thing they need to look at though is this secondary and the depth, right? Like as you mentioned, they lost basically their entire backfield or secondary. So let's figure out what we need to do there. Because, and the other thing is too, like, these were very close games that they were winning. If you don't have a secondary that can keep folks from scoring those last possession touchdowns, then, you know, they could very much swing the other way and their record could be flip-flopped, right? So I definitely think the secondary is their biggest concern. I think wide receiver could be interesting as well, but I definitely think the secondary is the priority here.
I think it'd be really shocking if they went wide receiver, right? Because I do think, like, I expect Roma Dunze to make this big breakout. They just spent an early second-round pick on Luther Burden, and I just want them to make Colston Loveland the focal point of the offense. Like, I'm really excited to see what that could look like.
Yeah.
I do think in the second or third round, they should consider, second round, because they have 2 second-round picks. I do think they should consider a more elite running back. Because think about Ben Johnson with the Lions, right? He had David Montgomery there the first year. He actually had DeAndre Swift there his first year as well. And it took until Jahmyr Gibbs to really transform that offense. So maybe they consider a running back. There's going to be no one like a Jahmyr Gibbs sitting there in the second round.
Right.
But after Jeremiah Love, I do think there'll be a big fall in running backs until the second guy goes off. So maybe they consider a running back in the second round. And then that first round pick, 25th overall, that is a perfect spot to take a corner, a safety. Like, this is supposed to be a pretty good safety draft. Maybe an edge rusher, because they were in the mix for Max Crosby here.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Maybe they can still go get him. But their defense could be the thing that brings them down next year. Now, second place team, 9-7-1, the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah.
They just disappoint every year, but they did end up making the playoffs. They lost to the Bears in the wild card round. They've really done nothing this offseason. It's kind of crazy because they're saying we're happy with what we are, I guess, because they have the same head coach, which I think is fair. Like, I would have kept Matt LaFleur as well if I was a Packers owner, right? And then they kept the same OC. Fine. They lost their defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley. He goes to be the Miami Dolphins head coach. They hired Jonathan Gannon, who just got fired from the Cardinals as a head coach. But normally head coaches who get fired, like Gannon was a good DC before. That's why he got hired as a head coach. So I think that's a fine hire. They lose Romeo Doubs. They lose key pieces of the offensive line and Elkin Jenkins and Rasheed Walker. They lost a couple key defensive players, even if they were a disappointment to where they were drafted, but still key players in Rashawn Gary and Quay Walker. And then just haven't done anything in free agency really at all. And then the biggest worry is they don't have a first round pick this year.
Right.
They traded away for Micah Parsons, which is cool, but they don't have a first pick until number 52 overall. And then they don't have another pick until 82 overall. So
yikes.
Depending on any of these rookies, like to fill any holes, like the Packers might be bad next year.
Yeah. I don't know why they wouldn't be. Given the adds versus the losses in this offseason so far. I mean, as I always say, I mean, I love defense, so clearly that's always my go-to.
The defense is going to have to carry. I mean,
but the defensive front seven, I mean, you've got to figure out what you can do to rebuild that line. The problem is going to be the identity of the defense with a bunch of new players. The other thing too is the offensive line. There are multiple spots on the offensive line that they need to figure out. So, I mean, that has to be their priority. But
priority
draft.
where?
But that's what I'm saying is, like, you don't have any options is the problem.
Yeah.
So I don't know what
you're going to have to get pretty
doing.
lucky to hit on a really good starter at 52.
Yeah. I just don't know what they're doing.
Nothing.
Like what they're waiting on, I guess I should say.
Yeah, they're really not doing anything. And they lost Malik Willis. So if Jordan Love were to miss time like he has, and Malik Willis has come in and kind of been their savior a little bit, well, he's out. That's gone. You have Emmanuel Wilson gone too. So if Josh Jacobs miss any time,
right,
they've gotten weaker for sure. And they already were a mediocre team.
Right. Yeah, I think they could be the worst in the division for sure.
It's not far off. I mean, the worst in the division this year was the Lions at 9-8, and they were 9-7-1.
Right.
So, I mean, they were a half a win away from being the worst in the division. So, shockingly, it was the Vikings who finished third in this division at 9-8. They had the better divisional record than the Lions, and they won their final 5 games of the season. So, if you're a Vikings fan coming off that year, you're like, okay, it was mostly atrocious, but we ended on a high note.
But not the worst.
Yeah. Ended on a high note. Brian Flores is an elite defensive play caller. You gotta love that. Their quarterback situation last year was atrocious.
Dismal.
Obviously, as a fan, as a team, you didn't want JJ McCarthy to fail. That's not ideal, but it's really nice that Kyler Murray was just available for free this offseason.
Yeah.
And you had the most enticing spot. So you basically got a quarterback that is a huge upgrade to JJ McCarthy for free. That's great. But they haven't really done anything else this offseason. And I don't know necessarily they had to, because they were up and coming the second half of the year. But they lost some key players. And Ryan Kelly, their starting center for half the year last year. Now, he was a new addition, but he retired. Harrison Smith, their starting star safety for about the last 30 years. He's been there forever. Retired.
Finally.
Yeah. They lost their wide receiver 3 in Jalen Naylor. They lost some key interior defensive linemen in Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. But I still think they'll be okay. They do have the number 18 pick to try to reload that defense a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, really all they need is a quarterback that will throw the ball to Justin Jefferson.
Right.
Just throw the ball to Justin Jefferson.
But I think I think the piece of that is keeping Kyler Murray on the field.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is the center position.
I don't think Kyler Murray missed any time this year actually due to injury, though. I think that was all like,
Really?
we don't want Kyler Murray, and Kyler Murray doesn't want to be here.
So we're going to say.
Yeah. So we're just going to act like
and
he's
that
here.
very well could be it.
Yeah.
But I feel like, and I, I'm the armchair, so don't quote me on this, but I feel like traditionally he's like more of a scaredy cat. I don't see him as like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna go and run and.
He is shorter than us, basically. So
right, he can't even see, over the line, much less be a threat. So I think the centerpiece is a factor, and then I think too. I mean, as you mentioned, like jokingly, but Harrison Smith being there so long, it's leadership, right? When you have a veteran player like that who just sets the tone in your locker room defensively, I do think they're going to miss out on that this year. And that could be a factor.
I do think the Viking season's going to come down to what is Kyler Murray. If Kyler Murray can show the side that he showed us in 2020 and 2021 with the Cardinals, the Vikings are going to be a really good team with Kevin O'Connell. Mm-hmm. But if it's the Kyler Murray we've seen the last couple of years, then probably not going to be fantastic.
Yeah.
But still going to be better than last year. And maybe not record-wise, 9-8, because 9-8, they ended up being an okay record.
Yeah.
But overall, I think it's going to feel much better.
Agreed.
And I do think they could be a playoff team.
Yeah, I do feel like when the Vikings were playing, it was like, oh, put that on the low TV and like with no sound.
Because JJ McCarthy is going to let them score 3 points in this game.
Yeah, throw it away 3 times.
Yeah. Now, a team that should bounce back, that we had high hopes for, everybody did, the Lions. And we all want them to be good. Like, just be good. They finished last in the NFC North. Now, it was 9-8. So, again, it was a half a game back from the Packers who made the playoffs. It was a very, they could have easily made the playoffs if it wasn't just for a collapse. But they ended up firing their OC, John Morton. Then they hired Drew Petzing from the Cardinals. I don't know if I love that move, but I do feel better about it seeing the offense with Jacoby Brissett. And then once Marvin Harrison Jr. went down and Michael Wilson then was elite, it was very confusing.
Right.
But they Lions trade away David Montgomery. They add Isaiah Pacheco. I think it's fine. Overall, you're going to just lean on Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jamar Gibbs.
Jamar Gibbs.
I
messed up everything.
Making up a person.
Now, when the Lions were great a couple years ago, their offensive line was absolutely elite. And they're not going to have that. They had to release a couple guys and Taylor Decker, their starting tackle. They released their starting center and Graham Glasgow. They lost Dan Skipper, who was the backup tackle or like a swing tackle for either side, to retirement. They did add a new center who will be their starter in Cade Mays. But I do think offensive line has to be the priority in this draft. Build that back up because Jared Goff, with those weapons, he can do it. But you got to give him a good offensive line.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to give him time to get the ball out, right? So I think you're definitely right there. I also think linebacker, right? Like the defensive leadership, losing Alex Anzalone. I knew I was going to mess it up. Again, I think you need somebody to stabilize the middle of the field. So that, to me, should also be a priority of theirs.
Yeah, I mean, losing Alex Anzalone is not a nothing piece. He's been there a long time. Obviously, at any time, they need defensive help, right? The Lions are just never going to have an elite defense. It doesn't seem like. And they need someone with Aiden Hutchinson, and that doesn't seem like it's ever going to happen.
Which they didn't do, which I'm so sad about. I wanted them to go and get somebody to play with Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, they could definitely add more depth at corner, at linebacker, as like anywhere on the
Literally
line. Like,
anywhere on the defense.
yeah, it starts at offensive line and then goes to defense, like pretty much everywhere from there. Like they are set at the weapons on offense.
Yes.
Set. But outside of that, they can pretty much go anywhere. I just want to see the Lions be good again.
I know.
The
it
league
was so
is more fun when the Lions are good.
It really is.
All right. That is it for our recap of what the AFC and NFC North teams have done so far this season and what they need to focus on in the draft. But we're going to give you our prediction on who will win both of these divisions to close out today's show.
2-minute warning.
I know you're not going to pick the Steelers to win, to win the AFC North. So who will be your AFC North winner for 2026?
And I'm not doing that just to spite you. I'm doing it because I don't think they'll win.
Okay.
Which I would be shocked if you pick them, quite frankly. So I did pick, which I think I feel good about. I think I picked the Ravens.
Okay.
I did.
Mhm.
I did. I feel like the Browns are not going to be a conversation, unfortunately, Dad. The Bengals, I don't know if I feel hopeful for the Bengals, which scares me. So I don't want to pick them,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And then I'm not picking the Steelers. So the Ravens feels like the right pick. I think they did enough and are doing enough in this offseason to give them a better trajectory to not be so streaky next year.
I'll say if the team that wins the AFC North, again, only wins 10 games, we're fighting for 9-10 wins, right? Like it's a bad division again. I do think it'll be the Steelers that end up winning again. But if the Ravens can get back to what they were just 2 years ago, and I do think they can be a 13-win team again. And the Steelers, I'm sorry, you're not getting there. It's just not going to happen.
Right.
So I would also pick the Ravens. And also, if a team's going to win 12, 13 games, I would also pick the Bengals to do that before the Steelers as well.
Yeah.
So I think if it's a bad division again and you just need a team to squeak out some wins and be that, be the team with the winning record, which the Steelers really hold on to, it could be the Steelers. But if it's a good division again, I'll give it to the Ravens. Now, NFC North, I'm not going to pick the Bears because I do think they lost too many pieces.
Okay.
I think they won too many close games last year.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Lions because I'm not impressed with what the Packers have done.
Ooh.
And I like that the Vikings brought in Kyler Murray, and I like their defense. But again, I don't think they've done enough. So I'm going to go with the Lions.
Sure. I think after our conversation, I am convinced it's the Lions. But pre our conversation, I did have the Bears. Because and you're right. They won. I said it. They won a lot of close games. But I do believe in Ben Johnson. I do believe that he helped Caleb Williams turn a corner last season and gain confidence and feel like he could take the team and the game on his shoulders. And I think he's only going to gain confidence and ability from there. So I do feel good about that. I think offensively they have enough. The question is going to come down to the defense for the Bears. So we'll see, but I'm going Bears.
Caleb Williams needs to take a huge step forward in his third year.
Yes.
And if he doesn't, I think he'll be what he is then.
Yeah.
A fine starter, but not capable of carrying a team. But third year leap can happen. And Ben Johnson, I really believe in him. So I do think it'll come down to the Lions, the Bears. I think the Vikings could be sneaky next year. We'll see if they can sneak in as a wild card team. And then the Packers, I don't know. You gotta do some work.
Yeah. And you don't have a lot of options.
Yeah.
So.
Micah Parsons, you're putting everything into now. And he's gonna come off an ACL tear that happened late in the season.
Good luck.
Yeah. But I kind of love that.
Oh, I know.
As a Packers hater.
Well, and as somebody who all season long was like, they're overrated.
Well, they were.
Well, you weren't wrong.
I was not wrong. All right, that's it for today's episode. We will be back next week. We'll move on to the AFC East and NFC East teams. Don't miss it. Enjoy your week, everybody. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to The Analyst in the Armchair. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on socials, leave us a review, and comment to let us know what you'd like to hear next time.